Yeah, dear student, welcome back to the revision class of the accountancy, chapter 1, that is fundamentals of partnership. So here I am going to explain you the terminology of or the meaning of the key terms used in this chapter. So first point is partnership. So it's an agreement amongst the partner to share the profits of the business carried on by all or any of them acting for all. Carrying on by all means everybody will work for the common objective of the firm, that is to earn the profit, or any of them acting for all means if anybody is going to do any business, then one person can do the work. All are not supposed to go outside. For example, the signing of the check. If there are 4 partners, all 4 are not supposed to pass. Only 1 or 2 can sign the check. Partners are the all person individually who have joined the firm to act as a partner. Firm is the name under which the partners work. The Partnership Act 1932, this chapter is governed by this Act, Partnership Act 1932. So this Act gives us the liberty to either make your own provision or otherwise the provision of Partnership Act 1932 will apply. Next is Partnership Deed. It's a written agreement amongst the partner containing several conditions, terms and conditions how partners are going to work. That I will explain you later on. Capital, it is the amount brought in by the partners. Clear? It is the amount brought in by the partner to become a partner in a firm. That thing is called capital. Now there are 2 methods of maintaining the capital account. First is fixed capital. So under this we are going to prepare 2 accounts. First is capital account and second is current account. This account represents the introduction and withdrawal of the capital, and no other thing is possible. Rest all the transaction is possible in the current account. That is distribution of interest on capital, drawing, salary, bonus, commission, whatever amount is giving to the partner. Capital account will only represent the introduction and withdrawal of the capital. So under fixed capital account method, we are going to maintain 2 accounts, capital and current. Under fluctuating account capitals, we are going to maintain just 1 account. That is called capital account. Clear? Now next is drawings. It is the amount withdrawn by the partner in the partnership firm. Always remember, drawing is a regular feature while withdrawal of the capital is rare phenomenon. This is the ratio. Next is profit sharing ratio. Profit sharing ratio is the ratio decided amongst the partner to share the future profit and loss of the firm. Next, guarantee of the profit. Sometimes in order to attract a very influential person as a partner, guarantee of the profit is given to that particular person. So this is the basic terminology of partnership. Now the features of partnership. So it's an association of 2 or more persons who have voluntarily joined to become the partners. Clear? And they all are competent. In order to define the competency, section 10 of Indian Contract Act will apply. In short, it is called ICA, Indian Contract Act 1872, in order to see whether person is competent to become a person or not. So definitely partnership is an extension of sole proprietorship. So there shall be 2 or more persons, minimum 2, and according to the latest Companies Amendment Act 2013, the maximum partner will be 50. Okay? Agreement, there shall be an agreement. Agreement may be oral or written. The law is given here a liberty. The agreement amongst the partner may be oral or written. In both form it is acceptable. Business, there shall be a legal business. Partnership doesn't form for illegal business. If because of the introduction of any law, previous legal business turned into an illegal business, we have to immediately shut it down. Next is profit sharing. This is the basic feature for which all partners are joined together. So this is the ratio decided. Business will be carried on by all partner, and for the principle of agency will apply over here. Means everybody is working for the common goal of the firm, that is one profit. Now after comes the nature of the partnership. So partnership is a separate identity firm from the accounting point of the view, but from the legal point of the view, partnership is not separate from its partner. This means in case of any contingency or liability, the personal assets of the partner will be held responsible to pay off the debts. Afterward, the rights of the partner. So every partner has a right to do the business, to see the business, to attend the business, and to share the profits and loss of the business, to see the balance sheet, books of account anytime when is desired. Anything which is necessary for the supportive function of the business, partners will do that. Now next topic is partnership deed, which I have already disclosed to you here. So it contains several terms and conditions. That is name of the partner, their age, residence, capital brought in by them, profit sharing ratio, clear? Admission of new partner. These all things are included in the partnership deed, and it's a written agreement. See what I told you here, agreement may be oral or written. It is up to you. But if you put all the terms and conditions in their written form, it is very beneficial for you in order to avoid the future dispute. So in order to avoid the future dispute, this deed is created and several things are put in. Name of the partner, their age, residence, capital to be brought in, profit sharing ratio, admission of new partner, retirement of the partner, several things. Plus there is one more term that is called settlement of dispute. How this thing is resolved. So for that purpose, one clause is involved in it, that is called arbitration clause. Arbitration means to appoint one person who is going to resolve your dispute. आपने बचपन में कहानी सुनी होगी ना, दो बंदर की लड़ाई में बिल्ली ने कहा मैं बंटवारा करूंगी. So arbitration person is that billy who is going to make it settle the dispute between the partners. In this way, the deed is being prepared. So deed is the written agreement. I will give you one sample deed in a document. You can see that. Now, what will happen if the deed is not in written form? What will you do? If there is an oral agreement, what will happen in that situation? So one table is given in this partnership act. In the absence of deed, what will happen? What will happen in absence of deed? First is profit sharing ratio. That will be equal. The distribution of the profit shall be equal irrespective of the capital brought in by the partner and any amount of the percentage claimed by the partner. Salary, bonus, commission will not be given to any partner. Similarly, interest on drawings will not be given. Interest on capital will not be given. Loan by partner to firm in this case 6% interest on the loan amount is payable till the date brought in by partner and till the date of closing of books of account. At the rate 6% in IUL interest on loan is given. In case deed is not available, table is given in your book also, kindly see that. Okay. Now the next topic is distribution of profit. How distribution of the profit will take place in partnership form. So as I told you, it's an extension of sole proprietorship. So in sole proprietorship till last year what you have done, you have prepared profit and loss account. Afterward the profit available is transferred to the balance sheet. From profit and loss account it is transferred to the balance sheet on the liability side and added in the amount of capital. But here partnership, the accounting for partnership is different. So in order to distribute the profit, here we are going to prepare profit and loss appropriation account. So well, I have already taught you, but I am drawing over here the profit and loss appropriation account. See here, this is the format of profit and loss appropriation account. So on the top you have to write profit and loss appropriation account, and being a periodical statement you have to write for the year ended. I have written 31st March 2020. So it starts with the credit side by profit and loss account if you have received the profit. But always remember what will you do in case of loss. So nothing is mentioned. For that purpose we prepare profit and loss adjustment account. We will not use the word appropriation. Appropriation is always associated with the profit, because otherwise your account would be starting in case of loss. So here it would be written to profit and loss account. Okay? So in your format it has been not written. This means in case of loss we are not going to prepare profit and loss approve. We are going to prepare profit and loss adjustment account. So to start with the credit side, the profit received from profit and loss account will come to the credit side. Interest charge on partners join, it's an income of the firm, so it will also come to the credit. Now see what will come on the debit side. Interest on capital if agreed amongst the partner, otherwise it's not payable. To salary bonus commission payable to any partner, that will be given. If any appropriation is made, any amount is transferred to general reserve or any type of reserve, that will come to the debit of P&L accrual. Afterwards you are going to make a total credit item, subtract the debit, remaining is distributable to the partners in their profit sharing ratio. Okay? We have already studied this thing. Profit whatever 1, 2, 3, 3 to 1 as given in the numerical. So in this way you have to prepare profit and loss appropriation account, and you have to distribute profit to the partners. From this account also you can pass journal entries also. Now the next topic comes is about, I am erasing this thing. Now here you will encounter two terms. Then first is charge against profit and appropriation of profit. Maybe you can draw a line. Now what are the charge against profit? Charge against profit means those items which will come to the debit side of profit and loss account, and appropriation means batwara, to distribute the profit amongst the partner. So always remember the items of P&L will not go to P&L account, and similarly the items of P&L account will not come to the profit and loss account. Now what are these terms? Example, rent paid to a partner. Okay. Now rent paid to a partner will come to the debit of profit and loss account. Okay. Now here in order to confuse you, the word partner is written. To any person you are paying the rent, it's an expense of the enterprise. Expense means charge against profit. So it will come to the debit side of profit and loss account. It will never go to the profit and loss appropriation account. Okay. You are paying rent to the partner or to any other person. It's an expense. Similarly, manager's commission. Manager commission is again, it's a charge against profit, it's not a item of P&L approved. Similarly, interest on loan. Now interest on loan is again, it's a charge against profit, but if interest on loan is payable to a partner, still it's a charge against profit, it has nothing to do with the P&L appropriation. So there are certain misleading items or terms which will definitely make you confused. So always remember charge against profit and appropriation of profit. Charge against profit means those items which will come to the debit of profit and loss account. It will not go to the debit of P&L account, whether it's belong to the partner or to somebody else. Similarly, appropriation item will not come here. General reserve will not be transferred. In sole proprietorship we have done this. Amount transferred to the general reserve is shown on the debit side of profit and loss account. But in partnership, amount transferred to the general reserve will always come to the debit of P&L appro. So in partnership, any amount is transferred to general ledger, it will come to appropriation account. So this is the basic difference, always remember. Now some special aspect of partnership. Now special aspect of partnership means what item you are going to treat under this thing. So first is partners capital account. So as I told you, there are two methods of maintaining partners capital account. First is fixed and another is fluctuating. So under fixed capital account method, we are going to maintain two accounts, that is capital account and current account. So as the name suggests, introduction of the capital and withdrawal of the capital will shown in the capital account and rest all the transaction will be shown in current account, and both the balance are shown in the liability side of balance sheet. Under fluctuating method, we are going to maintain only one account, that is called capital account. For all individual partner, a separate capital account is prepared. Next is interest on drawings. Interest on drawing. See, withdrawal of the amount from partnership is a regular feature, while withdrawal of the capital is rare phenomenon. Always remember this thing. Drawing is different and withdrawal of capital is different. So being an income of the enterprise, here there are 10 cases of interest on drawing, which I will tell you. Okay? I have already told you, but being a revision class, I am going to again teach you. So we are going to deal with the second topic, interest on drawings. Case 1, bank, fixed amount is withdrawn on the beginning of every month. Okay, when fixed amount is withdrawn in the beginning of every month, in that case interest is payable on average basis. Okay, how interest is payable on average basis? Now what is average basis? Average definitely means it's a sum of two or more things and it will be divided by 2. So time left after first drawing plus time left after last drawing divided by 2. Okay? Consider a year, that is from 1st January to 31st December. It's an year. 12 months are here. Now consider one partner is drawing in the beginning of every month. Okay? So if he has withdrawn any amount on 1st January, so time left after first drawing is 12. Okay? And last drawing he will do on 1st December. Again 30 days are left. So time left after last drawing is 1 month. So 12 plus 1 divided by 2 equal to 30 by 2 or 6.5 months. Clear? So in first case, when fixed amount is withdrawn in the beginning of every month, interest is payable for 6.5 months on average basis. Now what is the formula? IOD, interest on drawing, equal to total drawings into rate upon 100 into time or 6.5 upon 12. This is the formula for interest on it. Total drawings, it is withdrawing on the first day of every month. For example, if any partner is drawing 2000 in the beginning of every month, so total drawings would be 24,000 into R upon 100 into 6.5 upon 12. In this way you have to calculate. This formula is applicable in all the cases, almost. In few cases it is not, but till 7 to 8 cases it will work. Now second case, when fixed amount is withdrawn in the middle of every month, so interest is payable for 6 months. Now again we will see time left after first drawing. So first drawing will be on 15th Jan. So time left after first drawing is 11.5. Time left after last drawing will be on 15th December. So 0.5 again divided by 2. So it will come 6 months. Clear? Now case 3. If fixed amount is withdrawn at the end of every month, then interest is calculated for 5.5 months. How? Your first drawing will be on 31st Jan. So time left after first drawing is 11 months plus your last drawing will be on 31st December. So time left after last drawing is 0. So 11 divided by 2 will comes to 5.5 months. These are the first 3 cases. Now the next case, 4th. Now the case 4, when fixed amount is withdrawn in the beginning of quarter. Now here instead of month we will use the word quarter. Quarter means, so first quarter is 1st Jan to 30th April. Beginning. Second quarter is 1st April to 30th June. Third is 1st July to 30th September. And last is 1st October to 31st December. You can count it from any point of the year. You can count it from 1st April, 1st July, 1st October. Whatever it is, it will come to 12 months only. Now see, what we are using the word in the beginning of every quarter. So definitely you are drawing in the 1st Jan. So time left after first drawing is full 12 months. And last drawing you will do on 1st October. So after 1st October again you are having a set of 3 months. So 12 plus 3 divided by 2, that comes to 7.5. So if a partner is withdrawing fixed amount in the beginning of every quarter, interest is payable for 7.5 months on average basis. Now again see the middle. If it is withdrawing in the middle of every quarter, so middle of the first quarter is 15th Feb. So time left after first drawing is 10.5 months. And last drawing is on 15th November. So time left after last drawing is 1.5 months. Total 12 divided by 2 equals to 6 months. Clear? Last case, at the end of quarter. So what is the end of the quarter first? So time left after first drawing is 9 months. And last drawing is on 31st December. So nothing is left. 9 divided by 2 equal to 4.5 months. In this way, you have to deal with the numericals of quarters. Now all these cases are belonging to the fixed amount withdrawn either in the beginning or at the end. Now how will you deal with the when improper amounts are withdrawn at improper dates? In this case there is a two methods, simple method or product method, that I will tell you. Now what will you do when improper amounts are withdrawn at improper dates? I am drawing a column over here. Now first we are using simple method. First May amount is 2000. So number of month for which amount is outside the business is 11. 1st August 5,000. The number of month for which money is out 8. 30th September again 2000. 6 month 31st January 6,000. Amount is, month is 2 and 31st March 2000. Amount is 0. Clear? Now in simple method you have to calculate 5 times the amount of interest. Clear? See, for first month how it is calculated. If ROI is, rate of interest is 15%. Clear? See how we will do the first entry. 2000 into 15 upon 100 into 11 by 12. So interest will come up to 275. Clear? In this way it is calculated. So you have to calculate this thing 5 times. So it's a very problematic thing. Now instead of this, you can find out this whole amount of the interest in 1 year. See, if you have to do the calculation, you have to do it 5 times. So 275, 500, 150, 150 and 0. Total will come to 1075. But it's a very problematic thing. You have to do the calculation 5 times. In order to overcome this situation, we will use another method, that is called product method. So how to deal with the product method? Definitely the word product has come. So you have to multiply something. Product. Okay? Multiply amount with the number of months. First is 22,000. Second is 40. Third is 12,000. Again 12 and 0. Clear? Make a total of this, that comes to 86,000 into 15% into 1 by 12. So that will also come to 1075. In this way you can find out when unequal amounts are withdrawn at unequal dates or improper dates. So two methods are there, simple method and average method. Okay. Now one more case is there. if nothing is mentioned about the dates of withdrawal, clear? If no dates are mentioned, just one amount is given, that 2000 is withdrawn, no problem. And the ROI is 15%. In this case also 2000 into 15% into 6 by 12. If the date of withdrawal is not given, you can find out the interest payable on drawing on an average basis for 6 months. Similarly, 10th case, if the word per annum is not used, with the ROI you have to charge interest for full year irrespective of time period. If the word per annum is not used, the time will become immaterial. I hope this thing will help you. In the next class, we will study about the interest on capital and rest of the things.